Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its recent move to the downside. Well, we all had an inkling that a correction may be occurring. The severity of that is still on the table. However, we'll definitely see where this takes us. It looks like Bitcoin finally made a rejection on the in lieu of the prior all-time high, and now we're down roughly 8.44%. In all reality, this dump doesn't look bad, and if you're especially like if you're zoomed in um, to the hourly chart, for example, this does look bad. However, uh, two things. Um, if you move to the daily, look how far we've come and look where we are right now. That doesn't seem bad. Uh, right now, it could move further to the downside, and becomes a test of your resolve, and how this is a good lesson to learn in the coming future of you trading cryptocurrencies. Because let me tell you, 8% corrections are like a dime a dozen. 30% corrections are a dime a dozen. If this keeps you up at night, then you're over leveraged. You bought at the top, and that's just not a smart play. Uh, I Another not smart play, which I'll talk about briefly, was buying into altcoins. I should have moved it to stablecoins or kept it in Bitcoin, because as you can see, altcoins are bleeding harder because of this drop. I did take the risk uh, in the anticipation of uh, Bitcoin potentially moving sideways from here. I was wrong. However, that was a small position that I opened in uh, Monero, and the amount of coins that I threw into Litecoin, Chainlink, and Uniswap was very marginal. A good chunk of my portfolio is still in Bitcoin. However, uh, I can't stress this enough. If you're feeling like the world's going to end, if you feel like you just made the worst mistake possible, I would strongly recommend you to take a good look at your portfolio and ask yourself, am I over leveraged? Because if you bought at the top, you opened up a long position, um, and you leveraged 10x and you bought at the top, you you were you were liquidated. I'm pretty sure, um, at 10%, at like 10x leverage. Yeah, you would have been liquidated easily. If you had anything less than that, you're kind of feeling the pain, and you're kind of worried right now. So I would, at this point, I'm not telling you to sell, and I'm not telling you to buy. But the important thing to know is that that feeling that you're having, and remembering it, and and know that you probably were too over leveraged, and do better next time. Don't buy at the top. Don't buy it when we're 50% above the 20-week moving average. Do not buy, okay, when the RSI is at um, when the RSI was at 84 on the weekly. And if you look at previous times we were at this level, okay, in the last bull market, in uh, the most recent one in 2019, like we spend very little time up in this region. Okay, we sometimes go above it, but we spend very relatively very little time there. And every single time we peaked up, it corresponds to these mini peaks that we had above the 20 week. Hold on, let me change this to 20 to get a better idea. It corresponded to all the mini peaks that we had in the last bull run before we corrected down to the 20-week moving average. Uh, is this going to happen now? It could, but it doesn't always have to happen. It could stop here. It could go lower. It could go as low as, like, just be okay. I know I talk about the 20-week a lot. It does not mean that it's going to always correct down there all the time. Or whenever we see a correction, that's when it's going to correct. That's where it's going to correct to. Um, for example, uh, when we corrected here, we didn't touch the 20-week. We actually started moving sideways. So this could happen here as well. We can correct down and start moving sideways while the 20-week is coming up from the bottom, and then we can move up again. Entirely possible. Is it what's going to happen? Who knows? But there are multiple avenues Bitcoin might take in terms of reversing or how it's going to play out. It doesn't always have to hit the 20-week, but I always contend that it should, because that's how we get progression. That's how we move up uh, more stably, uh, stably. Is that even a word? Moving up more consistently in this sense, where we hit the 20-week, move up, hit the 20-week, move up. It's not a rocket ship all the way up to the top, because that's unsustainable. That's not, and that's very, very unorganic, so to speak. So in some ways, it's good that we see a red candle. Um, it's for some people, it's what they were expecting. For some people, this is the coming of the apocalypse. And for those people, I would ask, did you buy at the top? If you did, reevaluate where you're deciding to buy, because you looked at the top, you saw, oh my God, it's coming to 20,000. Everyone else is saying that's going to go to 20,000. It's going to go to 100K in next year. Um, Zoom out and ask yourself, like, is that like reasonable? Like I'm not saying it can't happen, but is it reasonable? And would you be willing to bet your money on that? Like, how sure are you? And for those people who are they ask themselves that and they say, yes, I am willing to spend X amount of dollars on this. I'm willing to take that risk. Then all the power to you. I will see you at the 20-week moving average. Um, for those people who are panicking, I would say, like I said in the chain link video last night, to zoom out a little bit, look at the macro scale. Because yeah, 8%, 6.83% on the week is bad, but not as bad as what it could be. Okay, there are multiple lines and multiple opportunities Bitcoin may take in terms of um, in terms of reversing this. For example, the 20-week isn't the only uh, average that Bitcoin will come down to. One would be, the 20-day moving average, for example. 20-day moving average on occasion has acted as support in a bullish trend, and currently Bitcoin is holding that level right now. It is holding it. We wick down, but I don't consider wicks. Look at where the candle body is. Is it going to close today below it? Is it going to close in the coming days? Who knows? But this is the first thing that I'm currently looking at with Bitcoin. Is it gonna hold the 20-day? If it doesn't, then we look at to the week. That's when it breaks the 20-day. That's when I'll zoom out to the week, flip on the 20-weekly moving chart, and say, okay, how far are we from the 20-week moving average? Because uh, I don't know about you, but it's still 38% above the 20-week moving average. So that's still incredibly bullish. As long as Bitcoin is well above the 20-week moving average, I'm bullish. I'm bullish for altcoins. I'm bullish for Bitcoin. In the medium term. The only time where that changes is when Bitcoin will hit the 20-week, okay? Something around the lines like this. That's when all hands on deck, and I watch Bitcoin like a hawk, because the moment it starts closing below the 20-week, um, the parade is over, and that's when I start quickly moving my altcoins into Bitcoin and Bitcoin into stable coins, and prepare for a further move to the downside, like what we saw in 2019, like we saw in 2018, because that will happen if we close below the 20-week moving average. And that's not a bad thing. That just means that it wasn't our time now. And it does not mean like it's never going to happen. So, with Bitcoin down, what is the general outlook? Well, first would be the 20-day. Secondly, uh, if that breaks, then it's really looking at how far away from the 20-week moving average, and will Bitcoin decide to go to the 20 week, or will it decide to um, move sideways at some point? I'm not buying anything. Uh, I still have my positions that I either added onto or opened currently, and I still have a pile of a chunk of Bitcoin on that exchange where I bought, still there, um, looking to decide later on, do I want to keep it in Bitcoin? Do I want to throw it into altcoins? Because, yeah, Chainlink's down 5%, but I still think it's a good buy. I still think it's a good buy. Uh, Now the question becomes, well, do I keep it in Bitcoin, because I will lose less in the short term, or should I accept the potential loss of Chainlink, and catch the falling knife, and see if that'll give me better returns. We'll see. I'm still inconclusive about that. I'm leaning towards the side of Bitcoin, keeping it in Bitcoin. What will change it if we start seeing Bitcoin move sideways from here. If that happens, then I will add on to my Chainlink position, XMR, and Uniswap. But that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Yes, Bitcoin is down, but this is, nothing new. Um, we've seen this time and time again. This isn't the first time, and it's definitely not going to be the last time we're going to see a red week uh, for this cycle. And this is, again, and I can't stress this enough, a great learning opportunity for everyone that's new in the space, or whoever hasn't been in a Bitcoin bull market before, that these corrections do happen. And in all relatively speaking, this isn't, 6% isn't much, 8%, 10% isn't much. It's when you get to the 30% corrections is when it gets really, really, really dicey. And that's the gut punch. And if you have the resolve to not buy at the top, and kind of look at it a little bit more objectively, then I think you'll do fine. Look at where the RSI is on the weekly scale. Is it 85 plus? Maybe that's not the best time to buy, um, but that is a risk you're willing to take. At that point, it's, well, do I wait for a correction? Well, what if a correction never comes? You know, where are we in the cycle? Those questions need to be answered, and you got to answer those for yourself, because that is what's going to influence your trading decision, and also, of course, your risk tolerance. If you're able to buy up here and you're like, I'm okay for a 40% correction because I know I anticipate it bouncing from the 20-week and moving higher, all the power to you. But don't, for the love of God, buy at the top. Not expect a 30% correction thinking that it can only go up, falling into the hot hand fallacy. seeing it come down 30% and you're like, this is the end of the bull run. I'm selling. You sell for a 30% loss, and then it goes back up, outpacing your initial buy. Like that is just not sound trading. And I would say, take a deep breath and reevaluate. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button down below. If you really liked it, hit subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Take care.